Here it is, we go again. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to mow. Here it is, we go again. Here I am again. Hope you are there with me. The session commences and your company is required. That thing that happens twice a day. The first installment of the day. That's what's happening right now. So if you are available, avail yourself of what is going on here. It's going to be a wild roller coaster ride. It's never anything else but. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Well, this is Obidient. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. And he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kokwa namno wow. Hey, ana mekele maduche mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. Just sing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. When I sing along, holy, 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 is another Savior. Getting moving right and getting moving fast now. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, holy, getting moving right and moving fast. Never freedom. Is another Savior. Never freedom. Holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Well, this is Obidient. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. And he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kokwa namno wow. Hey, ana mekele maduche mefo.
And there it is, right there. So there it is right there, the Holy Holy song, the farmyard singers from the eastern part of Nigeria. The farmyard singers from the eastern part of Nigeria, in their dulcet tones, telling you Nnamdi Kanu remains their other savior. He remains their other savior, even though we know where he is. Um, so there it is, Holy Holy. Holy Holy, as guys, I bring you this. Peter Obi meets Northern Elders spokesman Hakeem Baba Ahmed. So now this is the momentum of the Peter Obi train, the Peter Obi juggernaut, so hurtling towards its intention, towards its destiny, and ticking all the right boxes along the way, ticking all of the necessary boxes along the way. So the key to unlocking the seriousness of Peter Obi's movement, his campaign, and his ambition, the key to unlocking that is to establish this movement in the northern parts of Nigeria. That is what will take this movement from the silliness of an online thing to the seriousness of real politics. So I think Peter Obi knows that and is cutting heavily the northern space because, of course, we already know that it's in talks with Kwakwanso, but Kwakwanso is not sufficient enough for him to have entree into the north. So he needs to cut and romance even more heavily the northern parts, and it looks as though he's doing exactly that. Peter Obi meets Northern Elder spokesman Hakeem Baba Ahmed, even though Hakeem Baba Ahmed is actually a Mauritanian, but we'll set that to one side for the moment. So it looks as though now there's a new broom in Amanzu in terms of the Nigerian political landscape, and the old order might well be being swept aside, just as we know it. So the old order being swept aside somewhat. What's leading me to say that? Supreme Court strikes out Malami's suit challenging Section 8412 of Electoral Act. So this is the section within the Electoral Act. Anybody that's been with this platform for long enough would know that we spent a lot of time just going through these machinations, these Machiavellian maneuverings of Abubakar Malami, trying to subvert the newly assigned Electoral Act to favor his own pecuniary ambition. But it looks as though now the Supreme Court strikes that down. So another one might well bite the dust because, of course, Abubakar Malami, once this administration is over and is not able to park his ambition in Kebbi State House as his intentions are, then that marks the end of him as a political player. And he's very vulnerable, by the way, if he doesn't have anywhere to park his immunity, because he has stolen a lot of money, made a lot of enemies, killed a lot of people, Abubakar Malami, that if he doesn't have the cover of the state, he is going to run. He's going to run either to Dubai, but more likely to Saudi Arabia. If Abubakar Malami is not able to park immunity in a state house, he will run. And it looks as though now that flight is about to take place. Supreme Court strikes out Malami's suit, challenging Section 8412 of Electoral Act. So what's in play there, we find out shortly. This we find out shortly as well. This was a story that we spent quite a bit of time on last night's session, but a follow-on from that story with more expansion on what transpired. 2023, INEC explains why list excluded Lawan Akpabio Umahi as APC senatorial candidates. So also the strike one was of course the exclusion of these people who never ran in any primaries, of course, and by some form of magic from the magician called Abubakar Adamu, they suddenly appeared as the winners of a race that they did not even run. But the referee of that race says, no, no, no. 2023, INEC explains why list excluded Lawan Akpabio Umahi as APC not presidential, but let me take that again. 2023, INEC explains why list excluded Lawan Akpabio Umahi as APC senatorial candidates. So quite what transpired there, we get more flesh on it in a moment. So back to all matters Peter Obi, we're still trying very hard to avoid this fella, but still proving somewhat impossible. Peter Obi, no party can upstage APC PDP in 2023. Who is beating the chest this time around? SAN from the Creeks, of course, Festus Kiyamo, one of our Buhari's bag boys. So this is what it has having to say. Peter Obi, no party can upstage APC PDP in 2023. A headline attributed to Festus Kiyamo. So quite what's emboldened that we find out shortly. Still with matters quick Peter Obi, Kwakwanso Peter Obi, NNPP speaks on who will emerge running mate. So this is where the talks have been for the last week, 10 days. So they've agreed many things, but the most important thing that makes or breaks the deal is what they are struggling to agree and what they are almost likely will never agree. And this is what will stymie that conversation, that talks, those talks going on. So this is what will end and diminish and bring no result or anything meaningful out of those talks. Who is going to be the running mate and who is going to be the presidential flag bearer? So big egos at play. Kwakwanso Peter Obi, NNPP, speaks on who will emerge running mate. So we pretty much know how that might well have gone, but we'll document it anyway, just to be clear on what the latest installment is on that space. I won't quit politics despite losing APC primary to ex-Governor Tinubu. Oshibanjo tells our supporters. So now somewhat the forgotten man, nobody really cares. This guy is, for my reckoning, by my reckoning, this guy permanently colored, one by acts of treachery and secondly by acts of defeat. So he has publicly established that you cannot place faith in him. Everybody associates his name somewhat with betrayal. Even Tinubu might not, but people who know or people who have observed how the politics have played out in the public space, so they've attributed somewhat treachery to the name of this guy. So whatever his future ambitions are, is under that stain now, or under that cloak, let me say, or under that shadow, let's put it better that way. So he's having to carry the shadow then of a treacherous man. So as a politics, everybody would politic with him against the backdrop of his narrative with Tinubu. I won't quit politics despite losing APC primary to ex-Governor Tinubu. Oshibanjo tells supporters. So quite what is in play there, we find out shortly. So there are certain wars that will never end, wars without end. So there are certain enmities, either with somebody that has really grained at you, it has really gritted at you, either family or somebody. There's always somebody within most people's lives that they grate so much at them that hell will freeze over before you ever have a kind thought about such a person. So I think a lot of people actually have that in their personal lives. It's just that one person that grates on you so much that you hold so much contempt and disdain for, that hell will freeze over before you ever invest any form of trust in that person. For Body George, that person is Tinubu. I can bet any money Tinubu does not have certificates. So it's still Bode Jojo hammering that drum still. He promised us, of course, that if Tinubu ever becomes a Nigerian president, he will move to Ghana. So with Tinubu now carrying one of the leading tickets, I suspect that Bode George's luggages will be half packed already. But he's still clinging on, hoping against hope. I can bet any money Tinubu does not have certificates, Bode George are speaking. So any certificates means he did not complete primary, secondary, A levels as is the form in Nigeria, and then some form of tertiary learning. So very difficult to imagine that, but that is what Bode George insists. I can bet any money Tinubu does not have certificates. Bode George still beating that same old tune. So the same old tunes from Body George. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, relax into it. You see, it's a rich and diverse menu. If you want to come join me live on screen, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard. Then that brings you into a studio space. And as soon as I finish reading out all the headlines that I've just read out to you now, the body, as soon as I finish reading out the bodies of or the body of the headlines I've just read out to you, I'll let you onto the screen and engage you in a conversation. So that's how it works. An open microphone session, an interactive session, and the open microphone is the hyperlink that says StreamYard. But before I set about reading out those headlines in fullness to you, let's take a little bit of a musical intermission as we join the Kegites.
Only water, where they see ma. Water, Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́dí àkẹ́kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Chief Wáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosonama ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. The powerful, potent prayer by the Kegites. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀ ìgbàlà tiele. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe ìgbàlà tiele. So you have to understand just the power of that prayer. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe in Yoruba translated means may death have nothing to do with us. So that's the first and foremost prayer I think of everyone. First, may death not take you away, and then everything else you pray for after that. The first and most paramount prayer that any human being is making. So Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe, as guys, I bring you this. Peter Obi meets Northern Elder spokesman Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party, on Friday met with Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the director of publicity and advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, NEF. Correspondents gathered that Obi's meeting with Baba Ahmed comes a few days after he visited Governor Yemson Wike of Rivers State, a member, pardon me, we might have to take that all over again, but first a gulp of water. Let's try that again. Peter Obi, presidential candidate of Labour Party, on Friday met with Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the director of publicity and advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, NEF. Correspondents report that Obi's meeting with Baba Ahmed comes a few days after he visited Governor Yemson Wike of Rivers State, a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Baba Ahmed is a retired Baba Ahmed is a retired federal permanent secretary and a top member of the People's Redemption Party (PRP). I spent valuable time with Mr. Peter Obi this morning. I wish those who see him as an ethnic candidate can get to know him better. I also wish those who try to sell him with toned down. I also wish those who try to sell him will tone down his ethnic identity. I hope the nation will see the candidate close up. We could see a revolution. Baba Ahmed wrote on his known Twitter handle on Friday evening. Meanwhile, the former Anambra State Governor and Rabiu Kwakwanso, a former Kano State Governor and presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party NNPP, are yet to agree on a presidential ticket, on a presidential candidate and running mate. Whilst it is no longer possible for political parties to merge in line with Section 81(2) of the Electoral Act, both presidential candidates are working on a joint ticket with the hope of defeating the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), the opposition People's Democratic PDP, and others in February 25, 2023 presidential election. So somewhat of an endorsement from Hakeem Baba Ahmed there. And it's quite pertinent to note what Hakeem Baba Ahmed is saying, because it speaks to really what propels the Peter Obi space and what also holds it back. So let's go through Hakeem Baba Ahmed's words again. He said, I spent valuable time with Mr. Peter Obi this morning. I wish those who see him as an ethnic candidate can get to know him better. So that's the first part that speaks to just the Peter Obi space. Because for all of it and everything, all the hoopla and the brouhaha, a lot of people see him dismissively as just an Igbo candidate. And this is what Hakeem Baba Ahmed is speaking to. He says, I wish those who see him as an ethnic candidate can get to know him better. So he knows that quite a few people, and of course, it is well known that a lot of people, if not most people, see him as an Igbo candidate. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, that he says, he allies and explains, he allies with and explains the first thing that he said. So the second thing that he's saying, I also wish those who try to sell him will tone down his ethnic identity. So he says a lot of people see him as an Igbo candidate, and then he goes on to say the reason why a lot of people see him as an Igbo candidate, because really the people who are promoting him are promoting him as a Southeast champion. So it's very easy to marry the two. I also wish those who try to sell him will tone down his ethnic identity. But they play that up, of course, that it is our turn, he is our son, the Igbos have come and make way. So that's all of the things that they wrap his promotion around. I hope the nation will see the candidate close up. We could have a revolution. So it looks as though half obedient is what they have succeeded in making Baba Ahmed now. It may be not fully obedient, but it's certainly on its way to being obedient. So that is the interaction that Peter Obi had with Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Supreme Court strikes out Malami's suit challenging Section 84(12) of the Electoral Act. A lawsuit filed by Abubakar Malami, Attorney General of the Federation, on behalf of the federal government, challenging Section 84(12) of the Electoral Act, has been struck out by the Supreme Court. The lawsuit challenged a section of the Electoral Act that reads, no political appointee at any level shall be a voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for an election. A 7-member panel of judges led by Musa Something Mohammed which presided over the case on Friday, June the 24th, dismissed it and further described it as an abuse of court processes. Justice Hakeem, who read the lead judgment, held that having earlier assented to the Electoral Act 2022 with Section 8412 in it, the president cannot turn around and ask the court to remove it. He also noted that Buhari's request for the National Assembly to delete the provision amounted to constitutional violation, Hakeem said. There is no provision in the Constitution that vests the president the power to challenge the constitutionality or desirability of a legislation after he has assented to or denied his assent. In this case, the president gave his assent. The president has no power to request or compel the National Assembly to amend any part of the act of the National Assembly in which he participated in making. This suit cannot be entertained by this court under Section 1, subsection 1A of the Additional Jurisdiction of the Supreme Court Act. So dismissed out of hand, of course, the attempted sleight of hand by Uthman Danfodio graduate Abubakar Malami. So from that to this, INEC explains why list excluded Lawan Akpabio Umahi as APC senatorial candidate. The Independent National Electoral Commission has explained why some names submitted by the All Progressives Congress APC as senatorial candidates are missing from the list published by the Commission on Friday, June the 25th. Festus Okoye, the INEC spokesperson, spoke on the development in an interview with Channels Television. Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Godswill Akpabio, former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, and Dave Umahi, Ebonyi State Governor, had been listed by the APC as candidates for Yobe North, Akwa Ibom Northeast, and Ebonyi South senatorial districts, respectively. However, in the list published by the Commission on Friday, Lawan Umahi and Akpabio were said to have been excluded. The development comes amid controversy over the APC Yobe North senatorial ticket, as well as issues over senatorial primaries featuring Akpabio and Umahi. Although APC had fixed its senatorial primaries for May, Umahi, Lawan, and Akpabio were said to have participated in primaries organized by the APC after the trio contested the APC presidential ticket and lost earlier in June. Speaking on the development regarding the INEC list, Okoye said the commission is not under obligation to publish the names of candidates submitted by political parties if there are questions over the validity of primaries featuring such candidates. If you look at Section 29(1) of the Electoral Act 2022, Section 29 says, every political party shall not later than 180 days before the date appointed for a general election under this act submit to the commission in the prescribed manner the list of candidates it proposes to support at the election who must have emerged from valid primaries conducted by the political parties, he said. The commission does not submit the list of names. It is the political parties themselves that has been given the locus to submit this particular list, and in this case, there is no personal interference between the commission and the political parties. We open the portal, have what we call candidate nomination portal, and we give an access code to the national chairman of each political parties that conducted primaries, with which they upload the list and personal particulars of their nominated candidates. So, If a political party has uploaded the list and personal particulars of a candidate that did not emerge from valid party primary, INEC is not under any constitutional or legal obligation to publish the particulars of such candidates. The INEC spokesman added that the INEC spokesman added that a candidate who has let me tell you that again. The INEC spokesperson added that a candidate who was validly nominated at primary but whose name was excluded by the party can seek redress from a competent court. He also said the list published on Friday is not the final document for the 2023 polls, adding that the final list will be published at a later date. So the final list being published at a later date, of course, leaves the room for legislation and lawsuits that might well change that final list. So there it is right there. They did not participate in any primaries recognized by INEC, so therefore they were excluded. So Abubakar Abdullahi Adamu, welcome to democracy. When they were talking about democracy, Abdullahi Adamu, this is what they are talking about, with the people actually making their decisions and you not making decisions for them. So welcome to democracy, Abdullahi Adamu. Peter Obi, no party can upstage APC PDP in 2023. Kiyamo, Minister of State for Labor and Employment Festus Kiyamo SAN has said no party can defeat either the ruling or Progressive Congress APC or People's Democratic Party PDP in the 2023 presidential election. Correspondents report that the Labour Party and the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP are in talks in order to form an alliance to defeat both the APC and PDP in 2023. In a series of tweets via his verified Twitter handle on Friday, Kiyamo stated that an alliance against the APC is not realistic ahead of 2023 elections. The minister acknowledged the vibrancy and energy of the supporters of the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. He, however, said that those hoping that the coalition against APC will be feasible have not lived long enough to study the trajectory of elections in Nigeria, he wrote. Despite multi-party systems in all major democracies of the world, only two dominant parties have emerged in over 2 centuries in nearly all those democracies. Young democracies in Africa have not been different. Power have always oscillated mainly between two dominant parties. I love the energy, but those who are hoping it will lead to something extraordinary beyond APC/PDP have not lived long enough to study the trajectory of elections in Nigeria. It will definitely lead to a greater participation, but it will not substantially upset the apple cart. So this is exactly what we have always said here as well. It will definitely lead to greater participation. We can already see that with the voter uptake, and it will have some impact, but it would not change the order. This is just the thing. So if it doesn't change the order to install a new person on their Sorok seat, then it's huffed and puffed, but it's not blown the house down. What we managed to do in 2015 was that the APC was able to design a platform where all the forces against the ruling PDP were able to congregate as one. That is not the case now. The PDP lacks the moral fiber to pull such a stunt with its own internal squabbles and contradictions. A coalition against APC isn't feasible now. So this part I disagree with, of course. I waited till after close of nominations to make this analysis to protect my party. It is only a united opposition that can upset a ruling party. Even in governorship elections, the recent election in Anambra and Osun are good examples. So there it is right there. So that's pretty much a summary of the goings on with the Peter Obi narrative. Still with Peter Obi and Kwakwanso this time around. Kwakwanso Peter Obi and MPP speaks on who will emerge as running mates. The national chairman of the new Nigeria People's Party, Professor Rafiu Al-Kali, has said a decision on who will be the running mate between the national chairman of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Professor Rafiu Al-Kali, has said a decision on who will be the running mate between Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso and Peter Obi will be taken soon. Speaking on the submission of a report by a joint panel of the two political parties, Al-Kali said Nigerians would know when a decision is taken on the running mate issue. He told correspondents that the NNPP was getting massive support across Nigeria. Al-Kali said, Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso is a seasoned politician and he knows the country very well. Certain decisions have to be taken at the appropriate time in a way and manner that will bring more strength and credibility to this journey. On the panel's report, he said, I am not aware of anything and I am not going to comment on that. On the prospects of the NNPP in the 2023 elections, Akali said, I have been in other parties before NNPP, and I must say it is amazing. We keep receiving calls from people that are likely to join us, and we are making a lot of progress. So there it is. So decisions yet to be made. So I don't quite know if anything new has been added to that space, because of course, Kwakwanso insists that he's not subordinating to anybody, and Peter Obi's movement would not allow him to step down for Amala. So we're still as we were. I won't quit politics despite losing APC primary to ex-Governor Tinubu. Oshibanjo still thinking he still has anybody listening to him. After his failed bid to succeed President Mohamed Buhari in 2023 general elections, Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo has said he will remain active in politics. Oshibanjo further noted that he would continue to push for a better Nigeria. He stated this whilst addressing representatives of the diaspora professionals for PYO in a virtual meeting. A statement by his media aide Laulu Akande said, I intend to stay very actively engaged in politics of our country because I believe strongly that if God gives us the opportunity, the change will be swift and we will make a real difference. We must continue to push. If we give up and say, let's see how it goes, we will be much further back than where we started from. Some weeks ago, the All Progressives Congress held a special convention to elect a presidential candidate for the APC in the 2023 general elections at the Eagle Square in Abuja. However, Oshibanjo came third behind former Lagos Governor Bola Tinubu and ex-Transport Minister Rotimi Amechi. So at least Rotimi Amechi has the decency to shut his mouth and just disappear to go and spend his loot. But Oshibanjo, he still thinks he still carries some luster and allure. So all these people that follow him, they can continue to listen to that. I can bet any money Tinubu does not have certificates, but it's George still singing that old tune. People's Democratic Party chieftain and former military governor of Ondo State, Bode George, has said that he can bet any amount of People's Democratic Party chieftain and former military governor of Ondo State, Bode George, has said that he can bet any amount on former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, not having certificates. Bode George, who made the claims in an interview on Arise TV, alleged that during the 1999 election, Tinubu allegedly said he attended some schools in Ibadan, Oyo State. He added that when they tried to dig further and also asked him to produce certificates, the former governor of Lagos State allegedly said that former Senator Tokunbo Afi Kuyomi uh, filed up the form for him. But the judge also averred that if Tinubu went to the schools in the forms he filled, he must also have friends there. He concluded by alleging that Tinubu does not have certificates and should produce it if he really has one. So there it is. So there's a video clip that goes with that, which I shall play to you just in a moment. So there's the space. It never ends. The just endless drama that is the Nigerian political the endless drama that is the Nigerian political space. That body judge, he has been after Tinubu for I don't know. There's something personal. It's quite personal between these two elements. There's absolutely no doubt about that because he never misses a beat as to giving Tinubu a kick. So let's bring on the panelists as we have them. Ajane Koko, good to see you. Saki, Father, Wagwan, and World Peace, good to have you. So good to have you all, gentlemen. I'm trying to load this thing up to see if I can actually play it before I come to your chaps. And there it is. So let's listen to Bode George speak about Tinubu, and then we take commentaries. So first to Bode George. So let's listen to Bode George.
What do you say to those things? I'm talking about Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's what Kingsley Adesina did say about it. He has the mental capacity. He's mentally aware. He knows everybody around, and he has educational qualification.
Oh God, look, I can bet you any amount of money. Let Bola bring out the certificate of his primary school, his secondary school, and the university he attended. We want to see them. Because I remember in 1998 or 1999, when we had the elections, Afi Kuyomi was the one. When they raised and pulled his papers that he filled to INEC, they now asked him to produce all those papers. He said he went to Government College Ibadan and the Children Home School in Ibadan. We went there, we checked. What year? Where's your certificate? Nothing. When they were going to hoist him, he quickly said that it wasn't him that signed it, it was Afiku Yomi that filled it. Your certificate, if you have genuine certificate, you went to a particular school, you must have friends who, because you won't be the only one in that college. Let's see them. I am shocked that Ogunlewe will be saying this in public. He knows for real that this fellow doesn't have all these certificates, and I'm not hiding it. Let him bring them out. Look, the days of lying and telling a load of bull is over, completely over. Whatever you have, tell us. If you are from whatever, tell us. Why are you afraid? You must be afraid because you know that people will find out a lot of things that are illegal. That's why. Look, the educated is the best educated.
So there it is. It comes to something when Bode George is reverting to rap music. For real. Look at that. It's for real all of a sudden. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Ajan Lekoko, Bode George reverting to rap music to make his point. Do you know for real? Do you know for real, Ajan Lekoko?
Look, one man.
There's something that guy, he has a mission. He hates that guy. There's no question about it. He hates it.
Well, I don't want to agree that he hates him. I think it's just.
We didn't not tell us he will go to Ghana the last time if he ever becomes president.
Yeah, he still stand on his position that the last time he said he's going to go to Ghana, he was on the position that Tinubu can never win election in Nigeria, can never be president of Nigeria. So, and now he's talking about certificate. This is not the first time that people have been challenging Tinubu for his certificate. So I think Tinubu have a responsibility to respond to people. If you want to be leader of a country, you must be transparent with everything. You should be able to put out there your certificate. Let people see it. If it's because if you put out your certificate, it can be verified. We can know who you are. We can know the school that you attended, elementary, secondary, university, everything about you. So he should have that courage to put a stop to people, and particularly Baba Bode George, put a stop to their call for his certificate. He should be courageous to put it out there. There's nothing. It's not going to cost. It doesn't cost nothing. If he's really sure that the certificate he have or has been presenting that if he's so sure of the schools that he attended, he should be courageous to put it out there. When he applied for, when he sent his own application or his documentation to INEC, he put out his certificate online. Everybody saw it. That is how a leader, a leader must be transparent to tell the people he wants to lead that this is who I am. So it's a challenge to Bola Tinubu, and he should be courageous to put out that certificate, to put a stop to all this call for his certificate once and for all. If he's really sure of all the certificates, educational certificates that he claimed to have. So I don't see anything wrong in what Baba Bode George is doing. He's a Lagosian. Baba Bode George is a Lagosian, as like Tinubu, and they know themselves. They are from Lagos. So if a Lagosian is challenging Tinubu that, look, bring out your certificate, he should tell us he should be courageous and put it out there. This is not a man from the north. This is a Lagosian like him that knows all the nook and cranny of Lagos, that knows everything.
Is this not sabotage somewhat? Bode George is a Yoruba man, so you will never find a Southeasterner weighing against their own in this manner.
It is not a sabotage, one man. Whoever that want to be our leader must really be a clean and not a fraudulent person. So we have responsibility, and this is who we are as Yoruba people. We ask questions. We interrogate each other.
Good morning, Aja.
This is who we are. Yes.
Do you think Tinubu, to you, you've seen Tinubu be the governor of Lagos State, spoke many times, even without having to read from any notes. Looking at him, do you think he's somebody who, just grading him, who have maybe O-level degree, like high school, just by you evaluating him?
He worked as an accountant in a big finance house, so that's known. So he has credentials. So I don't know what Bode George is talking about.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why Baba Bode George is. He has always been after Tinubu. I guess Tinubu emerged from during the period of AD with Funshaw Williams. Tinubu came from the back. Iyaloja back then, which was this thing that was back in Tinubu then, and the other elders, right? Not everybody was in that wagon then, but Tinubu emerges and it took the leadership stool, and from that point, I think he has put all these like people like Bode George in the back burner. They hate him for that, and they went to PDP, fought against him with Obasanjo and everything, and Tinubu still came strong because people were behind him while he was governor the second time. I remember all this. So I think it's a witch hunt, to be sincere. Yeah, I understand. But even in America here, during the period of Trump locked up his school certificate. Nobody knew what he had. Though we know he went to Pennsylvania or whatever, but he locked it up, like lawyered up. Nobody knows what is in that record. And he was a president.
Right.
So what does it matter?
All right, let's get back to Ajande Koko. So Ajande Koko is Etanu Badbele. This is what I'll be telling you. Etanu.
It's not Etanu. What Bode George is asking for is not too much. It's not too much. Let Tinubu be courageous to put a stop to this. And the only thing he can do, publish your certificate, your elementary and secondary certificate, and even your university. I will be willing to publish mine if I want to vie for public office. Showore did it. Let him be courageous. So forget about he became governor. Oh, these people are against him. No. If he actually attended those schools that he claimed that he attended, let him publish the certificate. What is it going to cost him? I mean, we people should just, this is a simple thing. Very simple. I mean, a certificate, what is a big deal about? I mean, if you don't have anything you are hiding, you should be able to publish your certificate. When you publish it, it could be verifiable. And then when people verify and said, okay, he attended this school, you say you went to Idumagbo Elementary School. They go to the record and they found that this guy attended, and they publish, oh, he attended our school, and they go to any second, oh, he attended. That will put a stop to it. It is not Etanu. Let him do it. And you should all join. You should all join this papa in asking Tinubu to publish his certificate if he actually attended those schools that he claimed that he attended. So don't let us be lying.
What is the thing with this Tinubu? Everything about him is just fraudulent. His certificate fraudulent, his age fraudulent, his health fraudulent, his finances, everything about him is fraud. Every single thing is fraud.
That is what we, yes.
Okay, Jalekoko, do you think Tinubu can spin this one off? This death
it's a long-standing story, you know, so I don't think anybody will pay any attention to it. I think this was something that's been going since '99.
Well, this time around,
and it does have certificates.
This time around, PDP will take him to court for that.
Yeah, but it has certificates now. It does have certifiit's.
Even the Chicago is on question right now. The certificate is submitted.
No, it's not in question. He went to university in Chicago, but the university that he went to, because he let's take for instance, he went to Oyo State University, but he claimed that he went to University of Ibadan. So do you see? So he was claiming that he went to a higher prestige university than the one he went to, but he did go. And the minimum bar, I think, is school sat or something for Nigeria's president. So he scales that easily.
So how did you get into Chicago University? Which result did you use to get into Chicago University?
I don't know. You know, sometimes in the abroad, sometimes you can go into university as a mature student without actually presenting credentials. You can just sit some test to show that you have the capacity. Okay. So but I'm pretty sure he went just to like private. Who didn't go to? He's from the Tinubu family now. How would he not have an education? It's a
Even
prominent
that one
family.
you are talking about, that is Tinubu family.
Yes.
There's controversy over that too.
Yes, they say
Yeah,
from
it's
they
not
say
So
from
why do
Borno.
we have president that everything that surrounding everything about him is controversial? It's always lie or fraudulent or this. Why?
Somebody said two things. If he presents his school certificate, they will know his true age, because your school certificate will show when you left primary school. So probably that's why he's hiding it. So he must have primary school certificate.
And those schools that he claimed that he attended, elementary and primary school and secondary school, some people are saying that he didn't attend those schools that he claimed that he attended. So it just be courageous.
Yeah. It might not be that school he is claiming, but certainly he went to. Might not be that school. Maybe he went to one school.
That is the problem.
That's the problem. He went to one school in Oshogbo. Then
he
when
went to school in Oshogbo. He's claiming that he went to school in Lagos in order to claim the indigenous of Lagos.
Lagos, yes. Now, if you present the school certificate, that would be a lot of problem. Age, birth of origin, and all that. That would be a lot of problem for him. So he's hiding it, and you hide it.
I don't see how today they can't find friend that he attended elementary school and secondary school is claiming that they can't find anyone coming out to say, yes, we went to school together. We are his schoolmates. They can't see anybody. Look, we should just let us interrogate these people.
Well, please, let me show you. Let me show you. I want to show you two pictures. Because all these narratives around Tinubu's age, let me show you two pictures. Let me show you. Hold on. Just bear with me. Okay, so if you're in front of a screen, this is the first picture. So in this picture, you can see where my cursor is. That is Aregbesola right there, and in the middle, you can see Yemi Osinbajo, and to his left, you will see Tinubu. So if you look at their faces, you can see that they are not that too far dissimilar in age. They are pretty much within the same age bracket. You can see that. So this is a picture of them when they were a lot younger. So there they are. And then in this second picture, let me remove that. In this second picture, hold on. So in this second picture, you will see Aregbesola and Tinubu. So Aregbesola still managed to maintain his relative youthfulness, but Tinubu, you can see he has dilapidated somewhat. So I think the way Tinubu looks is more down to lifestyle choice, because it's widely known that he has somewhat of a drug habit. So I'm not sure that his age is as far off.
One man. That of age it will be very difficult to really distinguish somebody's age. Just like me, if you see me, you think I'm in my 30s, and you see me among my peers, you think I'm their younger brother or their hardly. So if Tinubu, Aregbesola, and others should have that almost same look. But that will not really mean they are same age.
Yeah, but it's the way he looks that people are using to query his age now. Is it not the way he looks?
Yeah, but again, Tinubu does not really have a age group that his friend. That his age group. You cannot bring Tinubu age group out. These are my
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. What do you mean? Of course, he must have people that he grew up with.
Where are they? We have never seen.
Where they'll be about. Did he grow up in isolation? There must be people that he went to school with.
I can promise you, he's not an alien. I can promise you that.
Yeah, we know.
What do you mean?
My point is this: at least if Tinubu grew up with some people from like the age of 10 to they were friends from 10 to like 20, those people can come and say, yes, I know this guy. We were friends at least 8 at 10.
Are you saying those people don't exist?
I've never seen those people coming out to defend him.
No. I'm not saying have you seen them come out. Are you saying they don't exist?
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they're not existing.
Yeah,
But
so
that's the
they
problem.
so
There's a
they
vacuum in
do
that space.
they do no, there's no vacuum now. They do exist by your own admission. It's not possible for him not to have people. We all have people we grew up with.
Yeah, that's the problem. So if his friends come out, then we can really pull, we can pinpoint his age group or age bracket.
No, they're not obliged. I'm sure his friends will be known. I don't know them, but I don't know Buhari's. I don't know Buhari's friends either. Do you know Buhari's friends? Do you know Oshibanjo's friends?
People came out for Buhari now. Even when
Name one person that came out that he went to school or was friends with Buhari.
No, that school of his school. We know Buhari didn't go to school. He went to military, whatever.
He would have gone to some.
No. Buhari went to school. Some of his friends came out at the elementary. They went to the same elementary. We have seen a lot of them that came out, and even his teacher.
Yeah, even teacher, even the military cadet.
His teacher could not have come out because his teacher would be long dead. But I don't know.
Anyway, even the cadet.
No, that was we saw the picture. Some of the people that went to school, maybe not his teacher, but the people that they attended the same elementary school. Yes, they came out and said, yes, we went to the same school.
Yeah,
so,
even the cadet,
but
the military cadet.
Even the military cadet, yes. Everything, yes. We have it.
Okay. So sorry, I want to understand what we're saying. Are you saying that Tinubu did not grow up with anybody? Is that
no, he grew up, definitely. But you see, the problem with Tinubu is the school he claimed that he attended,
right?
Elementary and secondary school. Right. I think that is where he had problem. That's why he cannot courageously give out those information. It cannot because those things will expose him that he did not attend those schools.
No.
And that is the problem he's having.
Tinubu said he went to University of Chicago.
No, don't let us go university. Don't let us go. Let us go elementary and secondary.
Forget elementary. That's the highest level of education now. So Tinubu said he went to University of Chicago. And this was what he filled in his forms. But people went to check at University of Chicago and they couldn't find his name. But then they dug further and found his name on Chicago State University, which is verified. Even Farouk Parogi, he was one of the people that went to check. He's a professor in the United States. He went to check and he was one of the people that broke that story that he did not go to University of Chicago. He went to Chicago State University. So he has credentials as high up as that. So what are we saying that we want to say primary school certificate when he has already presented?
Is it not important? Is that not important as well?
No, what is important is that he has credentials.
No.
O levels and above. This is what the law says.
No, that is just that. Yes, that is important as well. But the elementary and secondary school certificates is important as well because that is the
why?
That's
not the law. That's not the law.
The law
sets a minimum bar of O levels for the Nigerian president.
Well, you can't build. You cannot build.
Degree.
You can't build on a wrong foundation or a faulty foundation. Let us see that elementary and secondary school as well.
But why? Is that a legal
requirement?
We
want to see it. We want to see it too.
Why?
If he claims, because on that one, hold on one man.
Hold on one man. Something higher. It's presenting
Hold on one man. On that form, when you are filling your form for presidential position, you will fill your elementary, secondary school up to the highest level of education that you claim to have. You understand? You will fill it from the ground up. That is what is required on the form. So every level of education you claim on that form that you have must be verified. They must verify it to be sure that yes, you are not lying. So don't let us take it from the top. Let's take it from the ground up. And that is where Baba Bode George. That is.
Bode George says he has no certificate.
Well, it's a challenge. He should be proud to Just publish it.
No, he's already verified that he does have
No,
certificate.
forget. He's not. Let him publish. Let us see it. Showore publish his own.
There's nothing
We
obliging
need
him
a
now.
transparent person. We need a transparent leadership.
It looks as though we're
Don't
just
say
trying
we
to
should
follow.
forget. Don't let us forget.
No. It looks as though we are trying hard to color this guy bad. We're trying hard.
Is it not bad? Is it not a bad? Is it not a bad politician?
But it's bad enough for us not to have to make up things to make him look bad. He already looks bad.
We are not making
the
things.
law requires that he presents an O level or more. He presents a
no. That's not what the law. That is not what the law requires.
What's the minimum bar?
The minimum is school cert. The minimum is school cert.
School cert. So he presents a university certificate.
Yeah, the minimum is full cert. And I'm telling you on that particular form.
Has he met the minimum is school cert? He presents a university certificate. Has he met the requirement? No, has he now? Has he met the requirement?
Wait, one man on that form.
Answer the question. Has he met the requirement that the law stipulates? The law requires school cert. He presents a university certificate. Has he met the requirement?
Well,
yes or no? It's a yes or no now.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know that he has met the requirement.
We don't know.
The law requires school cert. He presents
that is why we are asking. We don't know.
You do know. He has presented a university
certificate. No, we don't know.
He has presented it. You don't know he has presented the university certificate.
We don't know. He should convince us. He should convince us.
He doesn't have to convince you. He has.
Oh, really? And you want him to be my leader?
No. You are being unreasonable now. The guy presents a university certificate. We know that. He has been checked.
Hold on, one man.
Hold on. Has he not been checked at the University of Chicago? Severally, he has been checked. And they've confirmed that he's from. Even the university has come out to state. And the law says minimum school cert. He presents a university certificate. So what more are you asking him to do?
Okay, one man, let us do it like this. I am telling you, as a person that knows, on that form, you have to list every level of your education from the elementary to the highest top of education that you claim to have. So from the beginning, from the ground up, everything that you feel on that, everything, your age, your where you were born, everything must be verified to be true. So if some are true and some are not true, that person is not qualified to be the leader.
Well, I don't know what you are
I am telling you. I am telling you.
I'm not taking it on your words because I don't know. But
I'm telling you the way it works.
What I do know is that the law stipulates a minimum of a school cert. That I do know. And what I also know is that the guy presents a university certificate, which completely scales that minimum bar by a distance. So that righteousness has been fulfilled. So I don't know what else is required. The law says the guy presents a university certificate.
I am telling you, on every statement you make on that form, if one or some are found to be untrue, you will be disqualified because you lie.
Okay, why has it not been?
Why has it not been what?
Right. What is presented to INEC? Why has it not been disqualified?
Well, we don't know yet.
What do you mean?
We don't know where they're waiting for it. But what we are saying,
hold on.
There has been controversy. There has been controversy.
He ran twice as Lagos State Governor and won. Why has it not been?
One man, point of correction. They stopped the investigation because he was a governor then. That's why they stopped it.
What about before? Hold on. What about before he was governor?
Ganifami took this up. They have to stop it because he has an immunity. They said he cannot be investigated as a governor with immunity.
That's right.
What about before? Hold on. What about before he was governor? At least
because
he wasn't
it came
governor
out,
before he
that,
became
that
governor.
information came out in his second term, when we were running for his second term
So
office.
INEC did not check
The
his
first time
credentials.
office, the Senate president even resigned for a fake result. So a lot of them have problem.
And he doesn't have immunity, by the way, for his credentials being checked. So I don't know what
No,
you're
you have
talking
immunity.
about.
Then he was a governor the
You
second
don't.
time.
What do you mean you do? What's the purpose? No. You can't say that now. Don't make up stuff now. What, please?
I'm not making up stuff now.
You are
the
making
second
up
term
stuff.
was being investigated. Now it was in China that rise now. It was being investigated. But it was
No,
stopped because
no, it wasn't stopped because it doesn't have. If you present your credentials to be checked, what immunizes you from the check?
they were checking him now. That was when the Chicago history stuff came up. The primary school he went to, all those things were put to stop when
because he has immunity.
Yes, that is true.
No, it is not true. It is not true.
Oh, one man. If you don't know, say you don't know.
No, it doesn't stand it doesn't stand to reason or logic, does it?
No,
an institution requires you to present credentials.
Every governor have immunity against any lawsuit while in office.
No, but
so
they are not immune from probity from INEC. He has to represent himself to INEC when he's running for a second term.
Okay.
Does he have to represent? Does he have to fill the form again?
Can I ask a question, please?
I don't know what's going on here.
Please, when you're talking about looking for the information for primary school, let us just be sincere for a little bit. I don't know what primary school you went. The one I went to, I don't think anybody in my age or people older than me, I don't know where they can store the information.
Certificate. Which
where is the information stored? We don't even have a database then. Everything is paper.
What do you mean? Every record is available in your school. You have files, you have folders. You graduated from elementary.
The one that Rat has already ate. The one that
just stop that. Just stop that. Where did you see the rat and eating? Where did you see the rat eating your certificate? Where have you seen that rat eating your certificate? And stop defending this defensive.
Everything is paper. Everything is paper in Nigeria.
Hold on. So paper cannot be worked.
Essentially, affidavits is what. In fact, I'm going to invite. I'm going to do a poll on this thing now. Anybody that is above the age of 40, I want them to tell me if they are able to present their primary school certificates. I'm going to do a poll now.
I do have mine. I have mine.
Primary school.
I have mine.
Yes. The only person. No, I don't have.
I have my certificate. My elementary school certificate, my secondary school, I have everything up to university. I have it. What do you mean that who cannot present it?
Go to
I
your
have mine.
Put in your name. They will give you they'll give you the hard copy. Just go to Ministry of Education.
As long as your school is existing, your certificate is there. The file are there.
Even the school is closed down.
Which school closed down? Which school closed down?
They will have to write you a new one, please. They will have to write you a new one. Okay.
So why can't they write a new one? Why can't they write the new one? No, why you guys are just talking. My father was in the 80s or the chief inspector of Ministry of Education, then Bede State. He was one approved primary school, secondary school before he moved to London. When I was in Japan, I needed my certificate. I went back to Nigeria. That was 2010. My primary school then was ministry. My nursery school then was a Catholic control then, a Mota nursery school. And I entered my nursery school in the 70s, late 70s, like 79, 80. I went to Ministry of Education, told them my name, my full name, and they brought the hard copy for me.
All right. All right. I want to move a little bit from this space, but because I just find this somewhat curious. When the law requires a minimum bar and somebody presents something that is vastly above that, but let me acknowledge Alexander Gomez Supata. I've done a poll in on the platform just to see how many people can present those certificates that we have been discussing. But let me sweep up some of the Supatas that have been coming in. Alexander Gomez, of course, told you Tinubu is the chief Agbero of Lagos Island. So uncouth. But the judge is right. We Lagosians know ourselves very well. So even like I said, Tinubu, everything about him fraudulent. Is from Lagos State. It's not from Lagos State. Certificate he doesn't have. money, we don't know where it came from. His age under question. His health, nobody knows. His mental well-being, he's telling you Agbado, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just a strange thing. And very slowly, he's walking towards that presidential seat. So there it is right there. Told you Tinubu is the chief Agbero of Lagos Island, so uncouth. But the judge is right. We Lagosians know ourselves well, very well. So that's Alexander, as always, chatting with us via Super Chat. Kulata joins him. Something weird about Tinubu's educational background, but his Chicago State University degree is legit. But question is, which secondary and primary, but question is with secondary and primary education. So there it is right there. So my quibble, Kulata, is what's the question really? If the law states a minimum bar of school cert and you acknowledge, as has been verified, that he has a university degree, so where is the quibble? Something weird about Tinubu's educational background, but his Chicago State University degree is legit. But question is with secondary and primary education. So thank you, Kulata. That's the debate that we have been having. With Ajale Koko insisting, of course, that if he fills it on the form, he has to verify it. So let's go on to Kulata, who still carries on. He has a family pedigree, his mom, and even cousins. So I'm not quite sure which part of the conversation that came into, but that is what Kulata inserts in that space. He has family pedigree, his mom, and even cousins. But are those families aligned to the Lagos space? Is the thing. Kulata still continues with the super chart. He didn't feel primary, secondary. He pleaded the fifth. So there it is. So he pleaded the fifth is to say that he presented an affidavit. So a lot of ambiguity in that space, because of course I'm not quite sure who has had insight into what he filled in for them to be saying he did this or he did that. But the one thing we do know is that he has fulfilled the minimum requirement and exceeded it, which is a school cert, and he presents a university degree. He didn't fill primary and secondary. He pleaded the fifth, which is to say right to silence. So that's the super chats all swept up. So thank you, Kulata, and of course Alexander Gomez. So back to you, Ajane Koko. Then, but the judge will never leave that guy alone. We know that hell will freeze over. So this space then, INEC justifying then the reasons why they excluded Lawan, Akpabio, Umahi, etc. The reason, of course, quite simple. These guys did not participate in primaries. It's just as simple as that. So I don't know quite why we got ourselves into a bit of a tizzy over these guys suddenly getting senatorial tickets. They did not participate in primaries. The law stipulates that you must participate in primaries. Therefore, they are excluded. So it's simple as that, Ajale Koko, and thank God. The only concern that we had was that even though when it's as simple as that within the Nigerian space, sometimes by some abracadabra magic, they will present it to us. But it looks as though the law upholds in this instance, Ajale Koko. Bye-bye, Akpabio, Lawan, and Umahi.
Well, the law is very clear. The new electoral law does not allow them a place as long as they did not contest in an election in the primary. So Femi Falana, like I said yesterday, spoke to that. He reminded INEC not to act stupidly by accepting names of those that did not contest the election or the primary rather. So, and INEC spokesperson said it too, that if the party submitted the wrong name, whoever that felt cheated can go to court to challenge it. But INEC, but Femi Falana is telling them that INEC have the right to challenge, to refuse name of whoever they know that did not contest in the election, because because the law allow INEC not to accept a wrong name for the candidate. So INEC is very clear now. I mean, the new electoral law is good for our democracy, and I believe that with regard to the case of the guy in Yobe, he's been given the INEC certificate, and I think it's the legit candidate that INEC recognized for coming election.
But Adanle Koko, there's still a void in that space. INEC have given him the certificate of return, but his party have not submitted him as the candidate for the seat. So there's a void in that space. So I don't think INEC can insert his name. The party has to submit his name. But INEC knows that he won the primaries, but the party has not submitted him as the candidate.
Okay, I think what is going to happen if the party
he has to go to court.
If the party submitted another name, that guy being recognized by INEC, being given the certificate of return, we take that certificate of return to court, and the INEC will back him up. INEC was witness, was an observer during the primary. INEC will state their own position, and the court will come out with a judgment that based on the fact presented to them. So that's the way I see it. It's those fraudulent politicians that are trying to see a way of having the candidacy of the party through the back door. They have lost that completely. They are just struggling. They cannot get it. It is open. People and that guy have refused to yield to all the pressure whatsoever on him to give up that that mandate. So it's clear. Ahmed cannot get it and will never get it. And if the party, it is open now. People are watching the party. If the party share matches, then you are going to see a very serious fight. I believe some lawyer might even offer themselves free to fight for that guy at the law court. So it is clear. They have lost Akpabio, all of them should just go back to their mommy and go back home to their mommy and go and start cleaning floor or do whatever.
Cleaning the kitchen again.
Cleaning the kitchen.
Have you tidied your room? Have you made your bed?
All the security, all the security, all the free when disturbing people, all that one is gone. They can't have it again. They will start feeling the heat, the way we poor people feel it in that country. So this is what they don't want to give up. They've been enjoying this power and all this excessive state protection for a long time. They don't want to go, but now they will have to go. They will have to live in darkness, no electricity. They will have to be using their own money to pay for what do you call this thing?
Their own upkeep.
Diesel to run generator. They will have to go and queue up at the gas station to get gas. They will feel the pain, and people will mock them. People are waiting for them.
From what would you like to eat to your eba is in the cooler. All
these things they have around. The wife will say, "You better go and cook your food." I'm tired. I cannot go. I'm tired today. No, I can't do it. No, better go and do your gari. Go and cook your eba or your apple. Go and cook your soup. I know if you do anything for you. I beg. I don't tire. If you no agree, make it go do anything.
I wonder why politicians of that caliber failed to study the electoral law before they even came out for presidential whatever. they should have studied the electoral law very well before taking action. So someone like Senate President, didn't he know what the law said before coming out for presidential contest?
You see, they are used to acting in
It's
a
quite funny.
certain way. They are used to acting in a certain way. It's just the thing. They are used to doing backdoor deals and imposing themselves against the popular will. So he got the assurances because their own politics is meeting at 2 a.m. in the morning in some um, fenced off apartment mansion and discussing how they are going to divide the country and then imposing that. So they have done all those nocturnal meetings and given themselves the plans that they usually have. So he was still operating on the old order, but there's a new order now. But thank you, Ajale Koko. Let me move the conversation now for reasons of time, and let me take it to you, Saki, and take you to a different conversational space and an infusion of a dose of reality, you might say. Peter Obi, no party can upstage APC PDP in 2023. It is Festus Kiyamo that is saying this. So he is a senior member of the APC, of course. So you will say he's saying that for reasons of politicking and partisanship. But if you devoid that and to the reality of it, he tells you then that you might not be long enough in politics if you are consumed by the excitement of a third force. He's telling you that globally, what obtains in virtually every culture that practices democracy is a two juggernaut parties that oscillates power between themselves. And Nigeria evolving in that system, and this idea of this yam noise making is just blowharding by the naive and low of wit. So what are you making of all that, Saki?
Well, that is his opinion. Nigeria is, yes, it's what obtains globally, but how many things has obtained globally that we see working in Nigeria? So this is not an exception. Nigeria is complicated. So I wouldn't want to toe his line of argument. So it is just his opinion. He's just talking as a party man. So let him keep talking. So
You don't think all this excitement around a third force, a new bloom in Amanzu, all this narrative, all this noise that we're hearing, do you not think that this is just hope running ahead of itself? Hope
what I know, what I know is that anything can happen in Nigeria. Don't take it for granted. Anything can happen in Nigeria. So he is just talking from the perspective of developed democracy. So Nigeria is not yet developed democracy. Anything can happen. So anything, that is my own line of thoughts.
But what underpins that? What verifies that statement is that the senior-most politics, which is the politics that usually often wins, it usually gravitates into mainly two strands. So people that are of a particular ideology, they stay within one party, and then the people of a different ideology, they stay within another party. And the topmost elite politics in every society, they gravitate either towards one or two of those divides. And that is where the real senior, high intelligence, money, power politics, that's where the fight is. So the third elements are usually people of psychedelic thinking, like people that have a green ideology, an egalitarian ideology, just a psychedelic. So it's somewhat psychedelic nonsense, really.
Now
Any
you're
idea?
now,
Yeah,
now you're talking about ideology, right? In an ideal society. That is
right,
what we see parties to represent.
right.
In Nigeria, if you have to be truthful to yourself, is there any of these parties that are driven by ideology?
Well, they
No.
are. They are.
There are none of them. None of them. It's just like they have ideology on paper, but they are not actually driven by ideology. So they just have it on paper. But we know that in Nigeria, none of them is driven by ideology. It is what you see there is just politicians pursuing self-interest. So none of them is driven by ideology. So let's forget what he's saying. He has his own view. That is his own opinion. I also have my own opinion. So everybody has his own opinion. So, but my opinion is that Nigeria is a country that there is no pattern. There is no mathematics that works in Nigeria. So anything and everything is obtainable. So I'm telling you that anything can happen, no matter what he says. If tomorrow the third force wins, I will not be surprised. If tomorrow the third force doesn't win, I will not also be surprised. Because Nigeria doesn't have a rocket science mathematics that works. It is anything can happen. That is my own opinion. So I don't want to toe his line of argument.
All right. Thank you. So we'll revisit then Yemi Oshibanjo. Just see how quickly people get forgotten within the Nigerian space. I cannot recall the last time there was a time just about 2 weeks ago. There was no headline that we had that it wasn't Yemi Oshibanjo this and Yemi Oshibanjo that. And we've even forgotten that he exists as a human being. He reminds us again, I won't quit politics despite losing APC primaries to Governor Tinubu, Oshibanjo tells supporters. So he insists that he's somewhat still in partisan politics and he will continue to participate. But what level of participation can Yemi Oshibanjo still have in the president's in Nigeria's politics? So he has been as high as just short of the highest office. So any other office that he holds within Nigeria will be a step down from the one that he holds currently. And the chances of him ever being the Nigerian president are between slim and none. So being active in politics, what does it mean by that? By your reckoning, what do you think he's talking about, Saki?
I don't really know. I don't really know whether he's talking about. I don't know. I don't really know what he wants to become. Any other thing short of the vice president is lower than what he has already achieved. So I don't know why he made that statement. But however, let me quickly say that it is really regrettable that APC had such a fine mind and refused, to project that fine mind and ended up bringing somebody like Tinubu. Honestly, if Osibanjo had clinched this ticket, then I will have basis to say Nigeria is now trying to get it right. So I don't know why they just saw such a fine mind and decided to relegate him to the backgrounds and bring out somebody like Tinubu. But what he is saying, I don't really know what he means by that. So being in politics.
If you think that even Rotimi Amechi beat him as well, then it was categorically rejected. So it wasn't even Tinubu. It was beaten by Rotimi Amechi as well by a good margin.
If the election was free and fair, I didn't expect Rotimi Amechi to beat him. Rotimi Amechi was able to do so, maybe because money played serious role in the primary election. But supposing that it was a free and fair contest that is not driven by money, everybody expected APC to have projected someone like Yemi Osibanjo. And if they have brought someone like Yemi Osibanjo, I'm telling you, he will sell very well. He will sell very, very well, He at least P2B.
Why do you say that? Because he speaks good English, Abi? Is that what it is?
No, it's not because of that. He will like get attractions from the youths will be attracted to him, So, but suppose Osibanjo is on this ticket on the one side in APC and P2B is maybe on the other side of the whole thing. There will be the bias will be much, like people will say if Osibanjo gets it is still good. If P2B gets it is still good. But right now, presenting these people like Tinubu and co, people are easily saying that P2B is better than all of them, So I had when those things were going on before that very primaries, I had been thinking that truly APC would project somebody like Yemi Osibanjo. Honestly, it's a fine mind. It's a fine mind to me. You know, if if Yemi Osibanjo would have been on the ticket, I would close my eyes voting anybody between Osibanjo and Peter. I will just close my eyes voting any of them. You know, so I
You'll
will
be
see
more
it.
reassured that the future is bright for Nigeria.
Yes. I'll be more reassured. Let me put it that way. So I don't know why APC made that mistake. You know, honestly,
Do,
to
do you
me,
think Tinubu was Buhari's choice?
I don't think. I don't think for
Who, who,
for
who,
Tinubu
who,
to
go on.
for Tinubu to make that outburst. Do you understand? For Tinubu to make that outburst, it shows that something has been happening in the background, which we don't know. It shows that maybe he's now becoming the rejected stone, you know. So I don't think I don't think Buhari is favors that very choice, you know. I don't think.
Who do you think Buhari's choice was?
It is hard to know. I had thought it was Yemi Osibanjo, but when the whole thing was opening up, you know, the tendency I started thinking towards Lawan. You know, that was what I was thinking towards. But initially, before the whole primaries, I was thinking maybe he might want to project Yemi Osibanjo, you know. But when the whole thing was coming out, you know, I started thinking, could it be Lawan? That was
Did you at
how
any
I
point
was
think it
thinking.
was did you at any point think it was projecting that it was favoring Rotimi Amechi?
Yes, when Rotimi Amechi made his declaration in Port, I think in Port Harcourt, River State, I think it was in River State, he made the declaration. You know, the confidence with which he was talking
When he was running
at a
around the
point.
stadium like a
Yes,
fool.
that very confidence. I started thinking, are you sure it's not Amechi? At the time again, I said, but Amechi is. Now, if you look at these candidates, Yemi Osibanjo seems to be very calm, very cool-headed guy. So it looks like somebody that will not
It looks
like
more
that
like
will.
a Buhari sort of a person, isn't it? Shibanjo.
Yes. So given that thought, I said, well, yeah, I think it could be Osibanjo, you know. But when the whole thing started playing out, you know, I was like, you know, and if you see the pictures Osibanjo was taking with those other contestants, you know, people will say, can you see how Osibanjo is standing in the middle? This thing is Osibanjo. This is like, I was thinking, maybe Osibanjo could be the anointed one. But when they started talking about Lawan, I said, could it be Lawan? Could it be Lawan? But when Tinubu made that outburst, it's very clear that maybe they are trying to sideline him. You know? That was my thoughts.
All right. All right. Thank you, Saki. It was an interesting space. The primaries, because we did a lot of sessions on that, and for all of the things that we permutated, every
Yeah.
single day, even we do 2 sessions, from session to the other. You were quite clear that somebody was going to be. Remember when Rotimi Amechi was being turbaned in Daura by
Yes,
Buhari's own monarch, and we
yes.
concluded that was the endorsement right there. But then Yemi
Uh,
Osinbajo, he refused to step down for Tinubu, and we're saying what is pushing him? It must be the endorsement. And then
yes,
Aregbesola was starting to fight Tinubu in Osun State, and we thought, okay, they've abandoned this guy completely. But at the
Yeah.
end of it all, daddy was still daddy. So daddy was still daddy. So Tinubu ended up daddy none of them, irrespective. But who do you think the biggest loser was in that primaries? Who do you think will take longest to recover? Who do you think can never recover from the defeat in that APC primaries?
I think Yemi Osibanjo. I think Yemi Osibanjo. But now,
Are you falling asleep, Saki?
no.
Yeah, go on.
No, but now I think what is playing out now, Lawan is going to lose a lot of things from what is actually playing out now. But I actually like it. I don't want that Lawan to come back to politics, to come back to limelight in politics again in Nigeria. You know, he
a
appears
lot
to
of
be
them are finished. Rotimi Amita is finished.
yes,
Ahmed Lawan is
yes.
finished. Bukola Saraki, if PDP doesn't win, he is finished. And Yemi Oshibanjo, he might not be finished though, because if you look at Kula, go on.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, from what you are saying, I want let them let those guys be finished. Let them go back and maybe try to find something new. Maybe if it is to repair shoes, let them start repairing shoes and.
Don't worry.
And those kind
These
of
people,
jobs,
they are dollar. Every single one of them, dollar billionaires. Dollar
Or
billionaires.
maybe they go they sell water.
Yeah, pure water.
Yes.
Pure water.
Angala.
Sorry, do you mean the man you didn't buy a governorship form?
Governorship?
Has it not completed 2 terms?
This is his second term. This is his second term.
Did he buy?
He's completing his second term right now.
Oh, it's only second term now. Okay.
Yes. So I'm really quite surprised that politicians of that caliber did not study the electoral law before doing what they did. And again, someone like Akpabio, I was like, why are you coming out for presidency? What made you think that you are going to clinch these tickets? There are people that came out for this presidential contest. I was like, why would somebody waste 100 million? How does someone like Akpabio think he's going to clinch the ticket? So I don't really know. So if I were him, I wouldn't have even come out in the first place. Or somebody like, David Umahi might argue that maybe he's thinking in the direction of he's going to be south, and then when it comes to south, he's going to be southeast. Maybe he could argue from that point. But somebody like Akpabio, and maybe others like the one that was saying, if you love Buhari, raise up your hand, I was like, what made this guy think?
What was that guy doing? He never once campaigned for himself. He was just saying, I love Buhari. He spent 5 minutes saying, I love Buhari, I love Buhari. They're asking you why they should elect you as presidential ticket something.
Yes.
I was waiting for him to talk about himself. He never did. I love Buhari, I love Buhari, I love Buhari.
Because none of them have much to talk about.
Then just a little contribution on the certificate space you are talking about, one man. The constitution stipulates like minimum requirement to be, I think, WAEC O level, right? Yeah. So, but Tinubu presented they had almost the highest level, that is university degree. So, but if I were him, because I think the way this thing works is that when you are given a form to fill, they will ask you to list all the qualifications you have. So you have to state those qualifications. If you have WAEC, you say I have WAEC. If you have this, you say I have primary school leaving certificate. I have a bachelor's. You have to list all of them. So I think whatever you list on that very form, they will want to verify each of them. It's just like when you are applying for something like a PhD, you want to go and do PhD in a university. They will tell you that they require maybe masters as minimum requirement for you to be able to come to do PhD. Then when you are filling form for the PhD, they will ask you to state your educational qualifications. So if you say I have BSc, I also have masters. They want to verify the BSc and also the masters, even though masters was the minimum requirement, for you to claim. They will still verify that BSc you stated you also have. So I think that is the way the thing was. So if Tinubu didn't want them to look at those other certificates, he would have just said, I only have bachelor's. I'll forget others. So, but since he said I have O level, I have first level school cert, then I have bachelor's. I don't see anything wrong in them trying to verify other documents.
All right, brilliant. Well put. So thank you for that. So Saki, for reason of time, let me move the conversation on to another contributor. But before I go on to the next panelist, let me acknowledge Kulata Super Chat, who speaks to where next for Oshibanjo. And this is where Kulata reckons Oshibanjo will park his career next. Oshibanjo for Supreme Court, his next career move, in my honest opinion. So yes, so I can see that as well. So it's either the Supreme Court, yeah, it's either the Supreme Court or maybe more academia. He could well go back to the university and carry on his teaching. So he can go back. There's a good chance that he will go back to the university and carry on teaching. So because he's too young to just go and relax. So yes.
Carry on teaching to be taking, is it 400,000 or 500,000?
No, I don't think the salary would matter anymore. It's just for him to pass on his knowledge to, So I don't think it's a good space to be now. Academia is it's one of the best things that you can do. So even better than so Oshibanjo for Supreme Court, his next career move, in my opinion. That is what Kulata Super Chat. So thank you for that, Kulata. As we take the conversation on to World Peace, and to you, World Peace, then let me take you to back to the let me take you back to the Peter Obi space and have you then go to Peter Obi meeting with Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum. So we've always insisted that before we stop laughing at the Peter Obi narrative, he has to make an incursion into the North, and it looks as though he is of that thought as well, cutting heavily the North. So he's going to the topmost, Rabi Okwakwanso, and now really the spokesperson of the lead organization for the North, Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Hakeem somewhat impressed by Peter Obi and recommending then that they stop promoting him as an ethnic champion because he seems to present with something that Nigeria can use. So what are you then making of the machinations of the man from Anambra State? World Peace.
Yeah, thank you, Oman. Going to the north is a good move. This is what we'll be coming for. You should build bridges. You should try and reach out to other people, not just obedient or be online obedient. You should be meeting people, negotiating deals and all that, making contact. And he's a followers who understand now that it's not about insult or calling people Fulani slave or not that. Because these Fulani people you're calling Fulani slave, you need them right now. You need their vote. It's time to build bridges and stop insulting people. And meeting Kwankwaso is a good move too, but I don't know if Kwankwaso will crumble his own structure and join Peter Obi as a deputy. Can you hear me?
Yes, carry on perfectly.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes,
so I don't know
we
if
can hear you. Carry on.
Follow up his, I don't know if Kwankwaso will follow up his structure and join Peter Obi, but whatever he met him for, I hope is good. I hope it will yield a good result for him. And the Hakeem Baba, that guy is a tribalist, serious one. But it's good he met with him and talked with him. So let's see how he can convince people in the north to get vote from there. But I doubt if people from the north will vote for Peter Obi. That's how I see it, my man.
So do you see the meeting between Hakeem Baba Ahmed and Peter Obi somewhat like Koniman die, Koniman bury him? Because like you said, Hakeem Baba Ahmed is a notorious tribalist and he will just play along. And Peter Obi thinks he's trying to jolly him along. But who is actually fooling who is the question? Koniman die, Koniman bury him.
Like Mama would say, they just went there to chop Ishewu and Apple for the TV show. They just went there for the TV. What will I say? Just for the
For
show
the
up,
cameras, it's just for the
for the
cameras.
camera. That just for it. Not that meeting will not yield anything. As soon as that big step out from the Akim Baba's hall or room or parlor, the narrative ends there. So it won't yield anything at all. Nothing to talk about. Nothing to write home about. Tabi knows that. We all know that too.
All right, back to the Oshibanjo space then, War Peace. He tells us that it will still be very much in active politics, but I think we are not able to sort of see where his political future would be because he presently the vice president. We saw what happened to Atiku now. He has just been floating around in Nigeria looking for that presidential seat because he can no longer go to Adamawa to be governor. He cannot take a ministerial position because every other position within politics is lower than the position that he has already occupied. So if Oshibanjo is speaking to a future still in active politics, where would that future be? What is?
I don't know. For his position right now, is almost he cannot go. The only place he can go from now is president and above. Maybe go be AU chairman or World Bank chairman or Nigerian president. I don't see him going below that. But again, let's hope that the hopes of Uzodinma treatment will not happen to Tinubu. This whatever they are trying to bring up. Because if it happens, then might use start to disqualify Amechi and give the ticket to Sibajo. But if Tinubu takes that ticket and win the presidency, I don't see Osibajo having anything. I think his political career would just end, except the Yoruba leaders will go in and talk to Tinubu and beg him. Because Tinubu,
what can Tinubu give him even in his administration? Because, like you said, he can't be secretary to the federal government. He can't be maybe Minister of Justice. Could he be Minister of Justice still? Is that still a step down from being vice president?
Yeah. He cannot get anything up. He cannot get anything. What he can get, either maybe ECOWAS chairman or AU, or African Union chairman or World Bank recommendation for those positions. Anything apart from that is no.
So it's either an international position or the presidency, but nothing
the
below
presidency.
that.
Nothing below that. If it goes below that, that means no, it won't be taken serious anymore.
All right. Thank you, Wapis. Thank you, Wapis. For reasons of time, Wapis, let's go on to Joel, who also joins us and hopefully still with us. So, Joel, are you still there? You've had a haircut. What's going on? You've had a haircut. Are you trying to impress babes? What is going on here? Are you chasing women? Why are you cutting your hair?
I have a wife, so I'm trying to look good for her.
A Nigerian man. What does have a wife mean? Look at this guy. You think who doesn't have a wife?
Is that not stereotypical? That's stereotype.
Okay, let's go to the politics of it. Peter Obi meets Peter Obi meets Northern Elders spokesman Hakeem Baba Ahmed. So now this is the sort of politics that a lot of people were anticipating that Peter Obi should follow in order to make incursions into the north. So a right move in the right direction, would you say, Joe?
In politics, there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemy. Also in politics, consultation does not mean that, sometimes you see people on TV and we have these judgments on them. But in this case, I wouldn't want to look at antecedents. I think it's too tribalistic. However, consultations are good. What do you have to lose? It is better you go in there, even if he does not listen to you, for the fact that he went to meet him is good for the optics, especially for people from that region. So you see, we are only trying to talk to people. When you come into any area, you have to talk to the leaders. But the people, the most important thing is that the people have a feel of you, and they can see and know, and your name resonates, and they go look back and see what you've been doing and the reason why you want to be president. So any meeting is good meeting as long as far as I'm concerned this period. I don't want to look at his character talking about Mr. What's his name again? I don't want to talk about his character, but it's good. It's good. It's a good move.
Sorry, I was talking to you and I didn't know I'd muted myself. But I was saying, like you
Okay.
said, it's good for the optics because a lot
Yeah.
of our politics is in imaging. A lot of it is imaging and impressions.
Yeah.
And when people see him having all these conversations with the North,
Yeah.
even the North are monitoring that space and
Yeah,
seeing
they are.
what to make of it. So, so it's politics in the right direction anyway. So these are building the bricks. This is the bread and butter stuff. So not the online. So that's the direction that he should follow if he intends to make a reality of that ambition. So a step in the right direction for Anambra for Anambra ex-governor. Yes. So
Okay.
still with it, Joel. INEC explains why list excluded Lawan Akpabio Umahi as APC senatorial candidates. So there's nothing more complex or intriguing than the simple fact that these people did not participate in primaries that were superintended by INEC. So, and the law does stipulate that you have to participate in a primary before your name is submitted. And it's as simple as that their name has been excluded. So is this now law and order politics coming into the Nigerian space and jettisoning that as strongman force your will politics that people like Abdullahi Adamu are still vested in and living in? So is this now a step in the right direction for Nigerian democracy, Joel?
Yes. I was talking to some people when they keep talking about their votes on count. I keep telling people there are reforms that are coming in that we can see that has been effective. The elections of 2003 was better than the one of 1999. The election of 2007 was much better than the one in 2003. So every year we have made progress, and depending on, you see, there's one thing about politics. You see, it needs time to really figure itself out, because what happens is that as people are going into politics, they have this narrative, they have this perception on how they want things to go. Then when they get shot in the foot, they go in there. The ones that saw what happened to their colleagues wouldn't want that to happen to them, so they go in there and do some reform. When they are going through these reforms, we are getting better. So that is what happened in the last electoral reform that we had. And unfortunately, you can see the kind of people we have in government. I mean, if those in the National Assembly could not read well the laws, the what they call it.
They promulgated themselves. Yeah.
They promulgated themselves. So to give to Buhari to sign, I mean, they shot themselves in the foot. I mean, we have about 400 and something lawmakers not coming back due to someone not reading between the lines, or even reading this is not even reading between the lines. Read the lines. So what I was talking about yesterday was about lifting. So they went ahead and did the lifting, and they did not know that that aspect of the place that they lifted was much against them. So there was many things going on. I think they had this placeholder mentality, larger than life mentality. If I fail in the presidency, oh well, who is there? Go contest, no problem. By the time you don't, just give it to me. That was the old way. Now, INA came out and say, you must come out through a process of primaries. And the primaries are gone. And look, let me just use 1 minute and address the chairman of APC. That man is a bigot. He is crazy. He is he's not he might be articulated, but his ways are questionable.
He's a man of the
You
past.
He still thinks that we are still in 1999. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. You can imagine. I am still thinking that he was the one that spoiled it for Yemi Osinbajo by nominating Ahmed Lawal. I think he was the one that spoiled everything, because if he had gone with Yemi Osinbajo, I would think that Yemi would have gotten more support. And alluding to what the other guys said earlier in the past, I was like, look, when this primaries was going on, my greatest fear, my biggest fear for Obi was Yemi Osinbajo. I said, if Yemi Osinbajo comes into this play, it's over. Because they have similarities. In the way they talk. You see, Nigerians, some of us are even tired of the high-handedness of some of our leaders. We want someone that can even think, that is someone that is like a human being. So we saw that in Yemi Osinbajo. So my fear was that, look, I don't want Yemi Osinbajo to be on the ticket, because P2B will have problems. And thank God it did not. So that was why I said that the emergence of P2B is divine. So for what's his name, the APC national chairman.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
For the APC national chairman, I think Tinubu should do away with him ASAP.
It's going to cost him the presidency ultimately. It's going to, if Tinubu loses that election, it'll be largely down to Adamu.
It will largely down to Adamu, because you don't really know. You don't, because if he can go for Ahmed Lawan, it means that he can sell Tinubu to Atiku.
Yes.
Don't you think so?
I think it will actually. I think
because
it will, because
if after Buhari in APC, you are going back to another northerner. You have the temerity in today's Nigeria. So say you're going back to the north, then it means that he has already had this thing with Tinubu, so he knows that Tinubu is not his candidate. So let's keep it at that. He may join hands with Atiku to defeat Tinubu in the north. So that is where I am having problems. I'm just thinking aloud for Tinubu. It's not like I want him to win, but if he ends the vote, let him be there. It shows that this is who we are. But what I wouldn't want is, if Tinubu wins, give him his mandate. If you deny Tinubu his mandate, don't tell me, oh, because there is a reason why you would deny him. No. If you were a northerner, no matter how he was, you're going to give him his ticket. You're going to give him his mandate. So if Tinubu wins, give him his mandate. And if he doesn't win, it's okay.
Still staying with Osinbajo, Joel, Osinbajo still of the reckoning that he still have active participation in politics. But which way Yemi Osinbajo now? He currently the vice president of Nigeria. So if he insists that he still has a future in active politics, which direction should that future, or will it point?
Osinbajo is still relevant. It is only in Nigeria that we gauge the activities of those who were in government based on the next position they're going to get, which is ridiculous. He can still contribute to this nation. He can, even if he doesn't want to contribute through politics, he can write books. He can educate the younger generation. He can do many things. He can even go back to be a contest for the local government chairman of his place. Government is about service. What is it about? If you are the president, you cannot do this.
No, government is not about service. It's about big manism. Big manism.
No. That's in Nigeria. But the idea of governance is about service. So does it matter what position you are in? You can still serve the public in whatever capacity. What we are doing right now, we are serving the public. We are enlightening the people. So you are not out there just running around talking like a beer parlor. You're here online. You dedicate some time to this channel to make sure people like us, people like the sovereized Ajele Koko, to come up and make some noise. But in doing all this, you are projecting, uplifting, the discourse on national building. So this channel will never be forgotten. So that is what we're talking about. Yemi Osibanjo can do much, much better. I mean, he has the resources to do anything he wants to do. I think he is very, very, very much relevant. Whatever he is doing, I'm going to go and listen to him because he is very cerebral. I can look at him and say, oh, wow, that's my president. So please, let's talk about it. He can go to the Supreme Court like someone suggested. He can just be a spokesperson. He can, what they call it again? He can go and, deliver seminars. Okay, Yemi Osinbajo is good. He's a gentleman. I don't want to.
All right, Joel. Going back to all matters, Tinubu and his mortal enemy, Bode George. Bode George insisted now that Tinubu has no certificate. So I think that is a bit excessive because it does have certificates, which I think has been verified by people. But what people are querying, Ajane Koko leading that front, is that when he's invited to list all of his certificates and is not able to verify all the trajectory of his education, that should automatically disqualify him. So the name Tinubu, anytime you mention him, somewhat always there's a fraudulent element to it. Even his certificates are fraudulent. Joel, have we lost you?
In Tinubu's matter, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, we brought home the wood, the ant-infested wood. So we have to deal with Tinubu. It's unfortunate that we are still talking about this, but the judge has been on this matter for like forever. Telling us about the man Tinubu, and how we ought not to.
All right, Joel, we've lost you somewhat because I think you've lost reception somewhat. I don't know if you can hear me, Joel. No, we can't hear a word anymore. But you're still talking.
He's listening, so he's been on this.
Oh, yeah, there is. No, you've lost connection somewhat, Joel. Joel, you've lost connection. But thank you, Joel. So Joel, let me use the window to acknowledge the super chats coming in from AI Efficiency, who says Bola Ahmed Tinubu probably misrepresented academic qualifications. So a mistype is what our AI Efficiency is making the attribution to. So are you back with us, Joel? No, we can't hear Joel anymore. No, it's somewhat grainy and stilted, so we can't hear you anymore. But thank you. We'll hold on. Back. Yeah, in the latter session. So thank you, Joel. Always a delight. So all your fans always, of course, eager to hear from you. So from Joel, let's go on then to Mr. Omorui, who has been patiently waiting to join in the conversation. So, Mr. Omorui, you've been hearing all the discussions. What has been dominating the space, of course, is what direction Yemi Osinbajo and Tinubu's fraudulent credentials. So, to those spaces, Mr. Omorui.
Yeah, thank you, Mama, for having me. Thank you for the good job you're doing. My pleasant greetings to my fellow panelists and our viewers across the globe. On the Osinbajo issue, as I concur with the last contributor, this is a mentality of we thinking that his condescending so low, where he wants to offer himself for the service of his country, after being the vice president. I think it's the wrong narrative. if politics, if service is about the people, you can serve your people at any capacity. If there's any area where we are missing this guy, this sharp guy, Osinbajo, even more than being a president, is the area of our judicial reform. If that guy could just come like he did in Lagos, to once again to be Attorney General of the country, of the nation, Attorney General of Nigeria, he has a lot of things to offer in that direction. You cannot compare Yemi Osinbajo to what we have currently, that Sharia law, somebody that is not even qualified. I don't know how, if that guy has his own 101 in elementary law, the current Attorney General. So we need somebody like that, like he did in Lagos. You could see the transformation he brought on board. Even at a point, he was invited to the national level. Even there by way of politicking then, or the Tinubu factor could not allow him to go, he rejected that offer. That was another opportunity we missed in Nigeria. If Yemi Osinbajo knows so much about our law reform, if we have him there, more than what he's doing as the vice president, I think he will perform better. So we should not have this impression that he was for the fact that he was once a VP, he can no longer offer himself for a lower office. I think it's a very wrong impression. It's a very wrong way, of making it's a wrong assumption. That's my own in that direction.
And Bola Tinubu's controversial credentials, everything about Tinubu controversial, fraudulent.
Yeah, I think like the other day I said, I'm beginning to have more confidence in you. Not that now you know that you're not tribal, you are not biased. That guy has been a controversial figure, and he's not just starting today, he's been on for a very long time. But what baffles me here is that, but at the end of the day, he was in Lagos for 8 years as a governor. He has been around, through it all, through the ICPC, through the EFCC and all. He has always have his way. I don't know how he does it, either because of the dollar is speaking for him or the naira is opening every door for him. He has been there. Out of every rumor, out of every nonsense they say, there's always some element of common sense. You cannot be, his state of origin, questionable. His primary school, questionable. His secondary school, there was even a time, but the judge was saying, if you attended so and so secondary school as claimed by you, who were your classmates? Mention one or two things. One person that were your classmates. But they just came up with, okay, I also attended social school. This social person was my classmate. Social person was my classmate. Social person was my roommate and all that. If you attended social and so, what year did you leave? Did you graduate from the school? Who can you refer to as your, he just ignored them as if they are not necessary. You can see the man buying his way through every time, It's very, very appalling. Things like that can only happen in a country like Nigeria. It doesn't happen elsewhere. By now, he ought to have been, investigated and, if found guilty, he should be made liable for his shortcomings. Not wanting to lord himself over everything as if it's, this sense of entitlement. Sometimes it's not trans, it's hard, but it's like, oh, if he doesn't get it, either his way or the highway, either Tinubu or nobody else. I think I'm not comfortable with that.
But the one thing you have to give to Tinubu, which is something that a lot of people know, in politics, he always wins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I say that one can only happen. You cannot be going with all this baggage on your head and you still loading yourself over every person. I say, the dollar must be, either the dollar, the pound, or the naira must be speaking for him. That's the only thing I can say. Even right now, what troubles me most is not even the baggage of qualification people are talking about. It's not even the, a lot of people, no matter how you see him, so they say one man's terrorist and it's another man's hero. Some people see him as their hero, He must have done one or two things, a bridge builder, somebody that has made a lot of people on their individual capacity. People have one or two things, going for him, like on the positive side. But my greatest concern is even his state of health, I don't know how people are pushing this kind of person to be the president of Nigeria. The task there is enormous. You could see when Barack Obama became the US president. Within the first 2-3 years, Gray hair came out from nowhere. It's not an easy task. Honestly, they say lies the hairs that wears the crown. People pushing this guy around is tantamount or similar to those that push Buhari around, that went to beg Buhari in 2015 to come and contest after he cried like a baby, after he wept like a baby in 2011, that he has missed the opportunity to redefine Nigeria and to, you know, if he wasn't given another opportunity, who would have thought, oh, this is another opportunity? Buhari would have been a messiah. Thank God people went to beg him, and thank God he accepted. And now he has just, you know, come to show that he has nothing to offer. So people like that, there are some people like that around the Tinubu trying to use the popularity and the money of Tinubu so that when he is there, they will use him again as a ceremonial president to be seen and never to be heard, and use the opportunity to make some money and the opportunity to make some political mileage for themselves. That is what I'm seeing in these people. If not, if they are sincere with this man should be busy taking care of his head so that he can enjoy his loot.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murray. So, thank you, Mr. Murray. I wanted to take you to one more space, but we have RB joining us as well. He's been in and out of the session, and I'm keen to hear his voice as well, so that I know that everybody has had the chance to speak. So, with your permission, Mr. Murray, let's hear from RB and have him speak on this Peter Obi narrative. So, RB, what's his name? Festus Keyamo, he has said something quite pertinent and worthy of noting. He has said that globally, go to any country in the world, and what you find obtaining are just a two-party system. That is not to say that that is constitutionally the case. There are other fringe parties, but in virtually every democracy that you can think of, there's power oscillating between one party or the other, and those are the two major parties. So all this new wave of enthusiasm that we're seeing in the Nigerian space is good for the electoral discourse and is good for voter participation, but it is no threat to the juggernauts that are the APC or the PDP. Festus Keyamo, he's rested in the assurance that the next president of Nigeria is either going to be Atiku Abubakar or Bola Tinubu, but definitely not Peter Obi. Are you with him on that thought, RB?
Yeah, wishful thinking. I would want a thought force for Nigeria, because I just feel like these people, they just go back and forth from one party to another party, this time defection. So it's almost
that is what obtains globally, is what Festus. Yeah.
Yes, but I kind of agree with him regarding human nature. It's almost like the right and the left, just like in the US, right and the left. France, you have the labor, you have the capital issue. So it's almost like the same thing. It's almost like a human nature. You can put your money on it, even if the race all started with 4 horses, is always going to end up with 2, back and forth for a very long time. I think it's very true. There is data to prove that. But to me, Nigerian democracy is still young. What says we can kick one of these horses out, one of these horses out, and put the one that the people want, and that one battles with the old guards. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's a possibility too. But I mean, we're still young, so there's nothing that says we have to stick to these 2 for now. We can kick one out eventually if the people can come together wishfully. I mean, if we put our our tribal sentiment, religion, and everything apart, but that's going to take us a long time because we're still a third world country, and the way we're thinking is very different.
Are you with the Peter Obi narrative? Are you one of these much vaunted obedience? Are you are you a rebel? Are you one of the Obi people?
I think I'm one of those that jump on the wagon at first. Then I got rubbed, how will I say, wrongly when I started seeing people attacking Omoyele Sowore, because I respect Sowore a lot, though it might not have some of the charisma of leadership in terms of being, he's a strong headed person, courageous person, but sometimes to really rule a country like Nigeria, you have to make deal with the bad people. And Shore as a person, I feel like he has always stood his ground. He knows these people, how corrupt they are, and he can't find himself to be able to make deal just to have, recognition or to have even possibility to win. So his personnel doesn't fit, can't really work with those people. So when I saw how people really, like, I'm talking about OB supporters, actually rub so bad on when they were talking bad about Shore, like, oh, he's nobody, he's just an activist. I'm like, somebody who has been in jail for fighting for people. I mean, we know this guy loves people. So despite the fact that he doesn't agree with, and I understand his ground too, like, oh, if my party had more votes than this guy, which is the same thing Obi is facing with Kwankwaso right now, in terms of the Labour Party you went to doesn't have as much as what I can get. Why should I go below? So I think people are using emotion and they're not seeing those arguments numbers to number, because at the end of the day, democracy is all about numbers. So to me, I just kind of stay calm a little bit, jump off that wagon. I want to see the plan. Like, how do these people really want to, I think you've asked a question here and nobody have been able to paint that journey, that picture. Like, what is the pathway for Obi to win this election, looking at Nigerian map and the demography, the different kind of people? I don't think anybody has been able even to just to predict, because the odds is against Obi.
Yeah, I think they are carried away with the enthusiasm and the and the allure and the razzmatazz, and they say, don't worry, P2B, he left her 40 billion. P2B, he did some secondary school. P2, don't worry about all that now. Nobody cares about. Look, Malam Dan Ladi Dan don't go from Bantutu local government area of Borno State. He doesn't. What is his business with P2B? P2B. What is the business of Mukhtar in Kebbi State with P2B? P2B. So I'm not sure if you were here yesterday when we opened up the Nigerian map and tried to chart a course.
Yeah, I saw it.
We couldn't find Peter Obi anywhere outside of his southeast base. And it was even an independent person that was running through that process, one of the panelists. So
Solomon,
I think they're just too seduced and too carried away. Just forget all that now. Nobody, and they're saying it's a savior. This is the same narrative. I think there's a messiah complex within the southeast. They need to save people, because they told us Nnamdi Kanu was out to save all of us just last week, and this week now Peter Obi is out to save all of us. So all this business of saving everybody is just
but to me, I still see a possibility of Obi winning. And when I say the possibility is this, I'm talking about couple of tsunami events. Couple of tsunami events could happen where this faction in each party can get fractured. And there will be a lot of, I don't know, this is just a painting in my head. Like, if there is a chance, it's going to be the weakness in the structure of PDP and APC during this, maybe it's almost like a wishful thinking. Like, if there is anything, there will be a lot of unseen event that will happen. It might even be some deaths in there that these people that hold these states together, like the stakeholder of some of this region, will pass away or something. I'm not wishing them death, but I'm just saying, and you are faction that can agree with each other, and defection and everything will happen. That might just work it out for Peter Obi if he can get a little bit of maybe North Central, more of the people on the South with the Southeast and some of the North Central. If that is I don't know, like I said, there will be a tsunami kind of event that will happen, couple of them, that will give Obi that crack. to that.
Albie,
Yes.
Albie, let me help you. You know, you asked this question yesterday, and I was trying to be clear. You see, in politics, you know, the nuances, the things that you do not really see, right, are the things that really, you know, make up those numbers. I have told you, when you say the pathway, what other pathway do you need? You are trying to tell me the states we are going to win or lose? No, that is going to be left for Nigerians to decide. But we are telling you what we are going to do in the hope. No political party will come out now and say, for sure, I beat my chest, right? That, you know, I am going to win here, I'm going to win there. Do you understand what I'm saying? You might have a brighter chance. You might have a brighter chance, right, of winning any area, but it is not like guaranteed. Look, let me tell you, in this election, Lagos is in play, Kano is in play. So if we are talking about vote division, Peter Obi and Tinubu, they're going to really divide the vote in Lagos. Kwanko So and Atiku and even Tinubu and even Peter Obi are in play in Kano. This election is going to be different.
How is Peter Obi playing Kano?
For Nagoro, wait till they tell us now.
How is Peter Obi playing Kano?
Okay. Can I calm down? Can I calm down? Can I break it down for you?
No, hold on. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been during an election? Have you ever involved in local politics before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, if you know how this thing goes in each local government, in each ward, the people who's going to vote, the people who's going to canvass for them, matter of fact, they will have had like a fake, like a fake voters card to help the older people, like coaching them on where they're going to vote, where they're going to thumbprint. They will be the first one to bring to the polling unit. I'm telling you, this is all planned.
Kano is just a state. Kano is just a state. What I'm just telling you is this: whoever, if you make a significant inroad in Kano because of the population that they have, there you have really shoot yourself up a little bit, right? You have shoot yourself depending on the kind of votes you have. But I am telling you that in Kano, that you have a huge Igbo population in Kano. You have the Kwankwasia in Kano. Then you have the governor in Kano, the governor of Kano, which is APC, right? Then you have the article factor also being a northerner. So what I was trying to make you understand is that everybody in Kano State is going to, have their own piece.
So
in Kano, one person will win. One person will win. However, we've been talking about, people having what they call it, making like significant or just make a little bit of impact, getting your normal 25%. If P2B gets a 15 to 20% in Kano, I mean, assuming is
sorry, Joel. Just to be clear, you know that most of the reports that we hear about Ishbar is usually from Kano State. So you are saying Peter Obi will get inroads into the Islamic Republic of Kano State?
Oh yes. Why not? Why not? If not, why not? If not, after all, when he went to Kano, hold on, let me come back. Right, when he went to Kano during the PDP, when he was, trying to be a candidate under the PDP, he talked to people. He talked to people from Kano. Yeah, I mean, people from Kano are not different from you. I was born in Kano State. We have hunger in Kano State. What are you guys talking about?
Every time he talked to delegate. He didn't talk to people in Kano. He talked to PDP delegate.
No. He did. Listen, can I learn? Every state Peter Obi went. After talking to the delegates, Peter Obi still went ahead to visit some schools and did some town hall meetings, which was not only the delegates. So I don't know where you guys are. You guys are not following him very, very well.
No,
I'm just telling you what he did.
okay, you follow him. So I want to ask: did he talk to Hishbar when he went to Kano State? Did he talk to Hishbar?
He mustn't talk to his bar. Just like when he went to the West, he didn't talk to the Igboho's camp. But he acknowledged Igboho. He acknowledged Igboho in Rufaya's interview. Right?
Joe.
He said, I'm going to talk to him. This is a leader. He said, I'm going to talk to him. But that doesn't mean that he's going to go to Lagos and start calling for people that support Igboho.
All right. Hold on. Joe, let Albie have his final words because I have to round up. So I'll be back to you and then I'll round up shortly. Yeah.
Let us just sometime when you talk, you have to put yourself in perspective or see from the perspective of the person you're about to talk to. If we go to the Southeast today and try to sell Kwankwaso to 10 Igbos people, and you can sweat and speak about how great he was in Kano, remember, you can only talk about how great he was while he's a governor in Kano and all that stuff. You talk to 10 people. What is the possibility that you even get 2 votes from an Igbo person to vote for Kwankwaso? That's what I'm saying here. Leave Kwankwaso, leave Obi in the East and vote for Kwankwaso. Just you knowing that.
They not have done it before. They did it before. Why are we talking like, you see, sometimes I think the problem we have with the Northerners is that for most of us in the South.
I'm not talking about the Northerners. I'm not talking about the Northerners right now.
Who are you? You don't know. You're talking like,
their son is running. Okay, their son is running.
You are still tendering to the same thing I'm talking about where I come from. You are still talking about, you are still playing where I come from politics. We have gone past your level. We have proved that right now. We have gone past. Majority of Nigerians.
Is there a number somewhere or from last election that you can use to prove that? To say, oh, you know what? Look at these
election. The last election is different. This election is different because we have an enigma in Peter Obi coming up to change the things in Nigeria.
So there's no numerical.
The last time we had someone like Peter Obi was MKO. That was over 30 years ago.
And there was a number to show that, right?
There are numbers to show that. I'm talking about what made people to come out to vote.
You said an enigma. You said an enigma, right?
MKO personality with that of Obi in Nigeria.
You said what?
You want to compare MKO personality with that of Obi?
What other way are you going to compare their
I mean, the question.
The way they change?
Are you comparing MKO personality with that of Obi in Nigeria? The personality
I'm talking about the ability. I'm talking about the ability to waken people up. I am not talking about character by character. I'm talking about their ability to wake people up and say that raise that enthusiasm amongst people and say there are first-time voters. Like I told you in the past, like I go by history. During the time of Obama,
was in the mainstream party.
The people that made a difference
in the mainstream party. And that was what gave
it does not matter. It still does not matter. If you were
MKO personality, don't compare it with that of
if you were in SDP, people will not vote for you. Who the hell are you? That's the point I'm making you understand.
Don't compare Obi with MKO. MKO personality is a world personality. It's a personality that conquered the whole of Africa. It's a personality that conquered the whole of Nigeria. It's a personality that was recognized all over the world. What are you talking about?
When
so don't compare both of them. They can never be on the same level.
It did not conquer the world. It did not conquer Africa. Let's be real. Look, MKO did not conquer Africa. MKO did not conquer the world. Let me just tell you. Let me brief you.
Look at it. You didn't even know anything about MKO. That's why you're talking like that.
We are not making sense if we both of us
you didn't know anything about MKO. That's why you're talking like that.
The
Go
reason
and
why
research.
MKO's
Go and
can I
research
finish?
MKO. You will know that as far back as then, MKO was an international citizen.
No, look at you. What do
He
you mean
was
by
an
international citizen? The P2P is a local citizen? Please leave
Who
that
is
matter
he?
alone. Leave that
Who
matter
is he?
alone. What
Is
I'm
he not a
what
local personality? What are you
go
talking
and
about?
look go and look
He
at
has not even
P2P's go
achieved a
and look at
national this thing.
P2P's inroads.
Don't
Go and
compare
look at
them.
P2P's
Don't
inroad in the
compare
UK.
apple with oranges. No.
Oh,
You cannot compare apple. No.
He might be richer. He might be
Yeah.
richer. He might be richer. He is richer than Obi, but that doesn't mean that
Do
Obi
you
is
know
not
the
a billionaire
organization that
in his own
MKO
right.
worked for? Do you know the
Come
organization?
on,
Do you know what
come
ITT
on.
used to be back then? Do you know that it was an international company? So come on, man.
Ajelekoko, let me tell you something. MKO was a normal
MKO, when they
businessman.
launch a black,
Oh
when
my
they
goodness, let
launch
me talk now. Let me talk.
Black Day in Africa, he was here. He was
Can
one
I
of
talk?
the greatest black man that was there. He was the one championing
What do you
this.
mean by what do you mean by greatest black man?
He was the one
What do you mean
championing.
by greatest
He
black
was the
man?
one championing this issue
Please.
of reparation. Don't you know what? Come on, man, just stop that. Don't
Please.
compare both of them.
Can I just talk?
face it.
Can I just talk? Can I just talk?
Yeah, this your Onagoro propaganda. Don't play it on the international platform.
Let me tell you something. Can I talk? Now you have spoken because we are wasting time. Let me just make a point. MKO's profile rose very well in the war space after his election was denied, after his mandate was denied him. That was where it started skyrocketing. Now everybody's looking at, look, this man won the election. The people love him.
You have still. I mean, this is not true.
It's true. It is true.
You know
that is what happened.
Maybe you are a very young guy back then. You didn't know anything about MKO.
No.
You must be a
I can
very
school you.
guy.
I can school you on his life and travels. That you are making that you are raising your voice doesn't mean you're right.
When do you know when? Okay, tell me when MKO politics started in Nigeria. Tell me.
He started in the 70s. Even
in the 70s. Okay.
He started in the 70s.
Okay.
What did you tell me?
Okay.
I've been following MKO.
Hold on. Don't compare MKO with Obi.
I am not comparing him. You see?
Yeah, that is what you're doing, and I've said stop it.
You cannot compare you
there are
and
two
myself.
different personalities.
I am saying
one personality is an international personality. The other, Obi, is just trying to attain a national personality in Nigeria.
Oh my goodness! Do you know the businesses of Obi?
Stop this.
Can you know one business Obi has? I'm just asking you a question. Can you know one business Obi has?
Obi himself said it openly that I'm a trader. Is that not what he called himself? That is what he called himself. He said, I'm a trader. Come on, man.
Do you know that Obi resided in the UK? That when they were giving all these black cards, one man you've been in. When they were giving black cards, that Obi was called to be given black card in UK. Look, let me tell you something. Even when
a lot of Nigerians who don't know how black card in America, they have it in Europe.
I am telling you that.
A black card is not an issue. A lot of our people here have black card. What is the big issue about black card?
See, you said that. You say he's local. You say he's local.
How many presidents? Oh, let me tell you this.
He was running a branding company. He was running a branding company in the UK.
Hold on. Abiola back then was anywhere Abiola goes, any outside Nigeria, they treat him like head of state.
Oh, God.
President come to meet him. President, you're wearing Museveni. Hold on. You're wearing Museveni today that you see in Uganda. Abiola contributed to his. I mean, he was the one that even sponsored him to be a military head of state there. And there are some other leaders in Africa.
Okay.
When Abiola comes to United, they treat him like head of state in United States. Come on,
United
man.
States.
Stop it, man. Don't compare. Don't
Please,
compare.
let's
Don't
go
compare.
let's go
Don't
to another
compare
topic,
him.
please.
All
Let's go to
right.
another topic,
Haven't
please.
you
Let's go
seen
to
him?
another topic.
Haven't you seen him with? Haven't you
Let's
seen him
go
with
because
Clinton?
it's not winning with
Didn't you
you.
see him in White
It's not
House?
winning with you.
Come on,
That
you
is not the
stop
reason.
it.
I am talking about the impact they have made,
Coco.
in
Can
making
you hear
people come
me?
out to vote. And
All
Peter
right.
Obi has made an impact, just like even better than MKO. Whatever you want to think about his
Wow.
world stage
All
or his
right.
world image, I
It's
do
all
not care. I'm just
all
telling
right.
you about the man and his ability to raise people to go vote.
All right,
Joel, let me
gentlemen.
add this.
So
Abiola is
it's
the
all
only Black
subjective.
African that entered America without no passport. Only person apart from
I
that
don't
was
know about that though.
yeah, check
About
it out.
that.
When he left Nigeria during that Abacha this
All
thing,
right.
he went to
All right.
America. He entered America on self-recognition. Only the Queen of England allowed that in the world. Abiola was the next person they give that recognition to. Go check it out.
All right, thank you,
Because
Whoopi.
people even smell it.
All right, sorry, Whoopi, I want to round off, but have your last word and I'll round off. All right, it's gone. So thank you, Whoopi, and
No,
thank you, gentlemen.
No, I'm here. I mean, I thought you were still talking, so I gave you time to talk.
No, I said I wanted to round off, but I wanted you to land whatever it is you were saying.
Yeah, what I was saying, I want Joy to check it out. Abiola was the only black man, only African that entered America on self-recognition during Clinton regime when Abacha was after him, before he came back.
You said Abacha was after him, right? You said Abacha was after him, right?
Nobody else, even though you are somebody else, nobody in this world apart from Queen of England.
All right. Sorry, Joel, I've muted you somewhat because I have to round off. Not because I don't want to, but so thank you, gentlemen. I have to round off, so I'll leave it here and peace. Thank you, everybody.